The Legend of Ochi is a 2025 American film written and directed by Isaiah Saxon, his feature length debut, actually, and stars Helena Zengel, Finn Wolfhard, Emily Watson, and everybody's favorite Willem Dafoe. The plot follows a young girl living on a Carpathian island, which is a very interesting choice for a location. Fictional island, I should say. But anyways, with her father and her adopted brother, and she is taught to fear the local creatures known as the Ochi, and her world is about to change when she stumbles upon a lost and injured baby Ochi. I had really been wanting to see this, man. I'm obsessed with not just monsters, but a good creature design. You know what I mean? Just in general, and I love the Ochi creatures in this film. Also, I mean, I love A24. I've said it in the past 1,000 times, and I liked the trailer quite a bit. But then I noticed that nobody seems to be talking much about Legend of the Ochi. So I hoped it might be, the underrated gem of the year. It's got a PG rating, which is not the type of stuff that I normally go for. It's a little strange. So I figured it would be a simple story, but it's actually fairly complex. The premise is very simple, but it's all the shades and colors that fill it in that make it unique, and it's also totally bombing in theaters. And what we have here, I mean, is an absolutely beautiful film that is slightly hindered by some pacing issues. But it is a love letter to 80s, sci-fi and fantasy films. A lot of people are calling it a throwback, but I think it's a lot more than that. I could see it being influenced by stuff like E.T., Gremlins, Goonies, and there's a group of characters that reminded me of the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. Now, when I use words like throwback and name a list of movies as comparisons, I don't want this to come across as generic, because it really isn't. I mean, it takes those influences and does something original, unlike so many others nowadays. And let me tell you, we need to keep an eye on Isaiah Saxon and his future projects, because I'd like him to be a rising star, in the world of directors currently. He's a man of many, many talents. And in addition to writing and directing, he's a co-founder of the film and animation studio Encyclopedia Pictura. Next, I need to get into the world building, because I found it very interesting here, incredibly stylized and kind of original in its own way. I mean, the Carpathian Island, like I said, is a fictional place, and when you first see it, you're a bit confused, because you can't really tell what time period it is, which is a common theme in movies and TV series these days, and it's maybe becoming a little bit too common, but that's okay. I kind of like it, but it's I think it's going to get old at some point. A lot of it looks like an old European village or something, especially like an old Russian village, maybe from the 70s or something. It's kind of run down, but the people have electricity and other, modern things. You also see like older looking vehicles that have things like radar installed in them, something even modern vehicles of today don't have. Basically, to me, this is like an alternate universe, and that's cool to me. I like it. The film kind of straddles the line between fantasy and reality, while keeping you completely grounded. Helena Zengel is the lead here, and you spend a lot of time with her. And I thought she was really good. I think she's like 16 years old. Her performance is intentionally dialed down and moody. Yuri is a kid she's been through a lot in her life. And I get kind of Wes Anderson vibes with most of the characters here, but I get them especially with Yuri. I think a complaint could be made about the fact that she's often hard to understand due to her German accent and her kind of hoarse kind of speaking voice. There were numerous times where I either couldn't hear her or understand her, or both at the same time. That said, for me, it's actually not a complaint, because it just kind of adds. I feel like it adds a little bit of character, and I think she just was perfect at portraying Yuri, however you want to look at it. And much like a Wes Anderson film, there's an underlying sadness here, and especially with Yuri. She has a complex relationship with her parents, mostly involved, or mostly, due to being abandoned by her mother. She's a very tough kid, but still a kid. So you kind of worry about her the whole time. Especially as she begins her mission of returning the baby Ochi, which I have affectionately named Baby Ochi. Willem Dafoe gives us exactly the performance I wanted as Yuri's father, Maxim. You've never seen him turn in a subpar performance. At least I haven't, and you won't see it here. What he will do is remind you that, he's one of the finest actors that we will ever see. Maxim is a good dude. He's made mistakes, in the past involving Yuri and her mom, but he's done his best to make up for it. He tries to bond with his daughter constantly, but to no avail, But beside, from raising her and her adopted brother Petro, played by Finn Wolfhard, he's also been entrusted in training a group of teenage boys to hunt the Ochi. And they're an interesting group. They don't talk a whole lot, if ever, actually. I think maybe some of them have a line or two here and there, but they still bring a lot of personality, which speaks to the writing here. They actually reminded me. I kind of mentioned earlier on that these are the characters that reminded me of the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. I don't know if that was like a direct influence, but it sure seemed like it to me. But it's cool. I liked it. The other standout performance, and arguably the best here, is Dasha, Yuri's mom, played by the always amazing Emily Watson. And I was so happy to see her here. It's been a while, and I missed her. And then, of course, the Ochi themselves. Surely you've seen what they look like by now, and surely you instantly loved them like I did. But that's just kind of where it starts, because the Ochi are not CGI, which I gotta say, when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, okay, it's probably going to be a CGI creature like in every fucking movie these days. But I repeat, no CGI manipulation used whatsoever. But I'll get more into that. But that's just the coolest thing I've seen in a very long time. But let me clarify. Baby Ochi, from what I read, and if I have any of this wrong, I apologize, and please let me know. But I did do a lot of research here. But so the Baby Ochi, from what I read, was a combination of puppetry and animatronics with no CGI at all. The adult Ochi, however, were human actors with wearing suits and an animatronic head, using very little CGI. Very, very, very little. Baby Ochi, by the way, took 7 people to operate. And as far as movie creatures go, I absolutely love the Ochi. I mean, I'm a huge Gremlins fan, and the Baby Ochi design is clearly inspired by Gizmo. It's gotta be. Arguably my favorite character of all time. And there's just a lot of old school movie magic going on here, and I'm afraid that it's going to go unappreciated by a lot of people, which is sad, because Legend of the Ochi brings not only style, but substance as well. And I think I have some ideas as to why it's just not doing well. First, it just wasn't promoted super well, I didn't think. I didn't really see the trailer circulating all that well, and I don't really hear anyone talking about it. Not Johns, not Stuckman. Those guys aren't talking about it, yet, at least. And another reason is that it has a PG rating, which I think will turn a lot of the adults away, which leaves kids. And if they don't know about the movie, they can't ask their parents to take them. But even if they do, I don't see a lot of kids really having the patience for this movie. And I say that because this is a film that moves at its own pace. I mean, every scene just breathes and takes its time, and you just have to be okay with it. It's never in a rush to go anywhere. And in that aspect, it kind of reminds me of older, like 1950s type films where the pacing is slower and it won't be for everyone. And there are a few points in the middle where things start to sag a little bit. I'll admit that. I'm giving The Legend of Ochi an 8 out of 10. The performances by Helena Zengel, William Dafoe, and Emily Watson were just fantastic. This is just such a comfy, wholesome movie. I appreciated it so much. It was just like a little bit of like soothing balm for the soul, The world building was one of my favorite aspects. It was just excellent. And I don't want all the hard work on the amazing cinematography by Evan Prosofsky, I think is how it's pronounced. And the matte painted backgrounds to go unnoticed. Just so much hard work went into this, and God, it just breaks my heart the way that it's flopping. I do think that this may go down later, and I know a lot of people say this about certain movies, and I try not to, but I really could see this becoming like an underrated modern classic. I really believe that. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.